Cool. So yeah, welcome everyone. Happy Friday. Thanks for joining us on Mental Health Awareness Week this week. So as you know, this session will be delivered by Sam from Mind. It's going to be looking at giving you some practical tips to look after your well-being and help those around you as well. Before I hand over to Sam and we get into the meat of things, just a few kind of house rules. Could we make sure that our mics are muted for now, just to stop any interference or anything like that? And then please feel free to use the chat function as we go along for any questions, and we can deal with them either as we go or at the end. We'll see what comes up. So yeah, I want to introduce Sam from Mind, who's the support sector lead for physical activity, and we'll be hosting this session. So yeah, Sam, over to you.
Brilliant. Thanks, Toby. And yeah, thank you everyone for joining us today for this webinar around the practical tips for managing mental well-being. Just quick one really to say sorry about Wednesday and technical issues we had. The joys of working remotely, hey? We're still getting around all these IT issues. Apologies for that, but thanks again for joining today. So yeah, as Toby mentioned, my name is Sam Perks and I am the sector support lead for physical activity at Mind. Bit of a strange role title and very confusing. So my role actually just involves supporting sport and physical activity organisations around mental health. And we really hope that you are taking care of yourselves at this time, especially given that it's Mental Health Awareness Week and the theme is kindness. And as a result of this, we want this webinar to provide you with tips, tools and information around how you can manage your mental well-being as well as supporting others. So yeah, as Toby mentioned, microphones are muted just to avoid background noise, but please do use that chat function box to ask any questions as we go. We do have a dedicated Q&A session at the end of the webinar, and I will be asking you to take part in some interactive elements just to keep you on the ball and just keep it as engaging as possible. So just to cover what this webinar will go through, so we'll look at what actually is well-being, how you can manage your own mental well-being, and then we'll look at how you can support the well-being of others. Key support available, and then we'll recap and look at those takeaway tools and more information. So just to kick start the webinar, it'd just be really good to find out how everyone's feeling today. So we've got a scale on the slide. So it ranges from 1, where you're having a terrible day, not good at all the way through to 10, having a fantastic day. So if you could just use the chat function box just to highlight what you would put down your score as today. Brilliant, thanks everyone. It's funny, I've done a few webinars and I've asked this question at the start, and it really does depend on the day of the week. Fridays, I'm always getting better scores, whereas Mondays is not a good day to ask this question. But good to hear quite a few of you are at that top end of the scale. And then just on the back of that, why have you put that score? So if you can, just using 3 words, why you have said that. I'm going to say I'm probably about a 6, tired, and then the other 2 words probably bank holiday. That's my reasons why. So if you just want to use the chat function box again, using 3 words, I know it's a bit of a challenge. Love that, Matt, that Friday feeling. Sarah, Friday running sunshine. What could be better? Mark, long tiring week. Yeah, definitely. Ali, lunchtime soon. Of course it is. How could I forget? Toby, gloomy weather Friday. That's a shame in Wales. We won't go through where's sunny and where's not, because that's always a tough one in Britain. But brilliant. Thanks everyone for getting involved in that. And then on to well-being. So the term well-being is used a lot especially at the moment. We're told that we need to look after our own well-being. But what actually is well-being, and why is it important right now? So to do this, we've got a true or false activity. So we've got 3 statements that we'll ask you, and then just using the chat box, if you could say whether you think it's true or false, and they all relate to mental well-being. So the first one, mental well-being describes the wider set of feelings and thoughts that influence our emotions and day-to-day behaviour. Is that true or false? Unanimous. Everyone's thinking true. Well, you're all bang on there. It is true. And our mental well-being can change from day to day, month to month, or even year to year. And mental well-being is about feeling relatively confident in yourself, and that you judge yourself on realistic and reasonable standards. You feel and express a range of emotions, and you feel engaged with the world around you, and you can build positive relationships. You're able to live and work productively, and you can cope with the stresses of daily life and manage times of change and uncertainty, which is obviously very relevant at the moment. So the next statement, if you experience low mental well-being over a long period of time, you are more likely to develop a mental health problem. True or false? People going for true, that's great. Brilliant. Yeah, so that is true as well. And that is why it is so vital to look after your mental well-being, especially during the times we are experiencing at the moment. And then the final statement, the 5 ways to well-being are connect, be active, take notice, keep learning, and to give. Is that true or false? Everyone's putting true again. I feel like you must know the answers here, or maybe I've just made it too easy and I've put true for every single one, because that is true again. And the 5 ways to well-being has been established by the New Economics Foundation, and that's going to be sort of the platform for today's webinar. Thank you for taking part in that activity. You're all spot on there, so that's great. So looking at managing your own mental well-being. So we all have mental health, the same as we have physical health. And just like physical health, there are things that we can do to look after our mental health and well-being. And one of the most popular frameworks around self-care for your mental health and well-being is the 5 ways to well-being. And you may have come across this previously, or you've seen it promoted a lot recently during the last few weeks and months. The one thing we would suggest is to think of this as your 5 a day for mental health, just like your 5 a day fruit and veg for your general health. And there is growing evidence that highlights these 5 steps can improve your mental health and well-being. And what we're going to do is we're going to run through the 5 steps in turn, but we are going to focus mainly on connect and take notice. So to kickstart, connect. So isolation and quarantining increases loneliness, and it is now more important than ever to connect with others. And maintaining healthy relationships with people you trust is vitally important for your mental well-being. We've highlighted a few ways that you can do that on the slide. But what's really important at the moment is also to disconnect, especially when things become overwhelming or from potential negative influences on your life, as this can lead to stress and anxiety. So I'm sure you'll be all keen to do another activity. So just this one here. So how do you disconnect? So if you use the chat function box, just to write down some of the ways that you are disconnecting at the moment. If there isn't anything you're doing at the moment, then not a problem. Maybe there's some things that you could potentially do, some ideas. We'll run through our sort of suggestions in a moment, but yeah, please add into that chat box. Been loving some of the suggestions there. Switch off mobile phone, airplane mode, don't check emails, read, music on, limiting social media, let my mind wander. Brilliant. Well, we've got a few tips and hints on how to do that in a second and to take notice in the moment. Some great examples there. So in terms of our things, they follow your ones really. So turn off notifications on your phone and laptop. Limit the amount of news you read or watch, and do so through trusted sources such as BBC News. Limit the amount you read on social media. Now, we know that social media is a great platform for connecting with others, but it can also make you feel anxious if people are sharing news stories from untrusted sources or posting about their worries. When I go on Twitter, there's always articles around when we're coming out of lockdown or things to look after your mental health and well-being, and they're not necessarily from trusted sources. And leave your phone at home if you go for a walk. I love airplane mode or hide your phone. Siobhan, I do that in the evenings actually. I go and put my phone in the drawer for an hour or so, and it's just really good to sort of get away from everything, because during these times we're so easily contactable that it can be good just to take a break from your phone, from notifications, from social media, etc. Next way to well-being is to be active. And being active has been hugely popular during lockdown. It's obviously one of the ways that we could leave our home, and it is extremely important for our well-being and mental health. And as you can see on the slide, actually being active can reduce your risk of depression by up to 30%. And exercising can reduce feelings of stress and tension, and as well break up racing thoughts. With activity, we're not saying it has to be long or intense, but it is a good way to build it into your daily and weekly routines. It could be simple things from dancing around the kitchen to gardening. Every little does help. And evidence shows that 90% of people reported that being active outdoors actually improves their mental well-being. We won't go through this in much detail given your sort of expertise in this area and experience. I just wanted to highlight our Get Active Bingo, which is a resource around challenges that you can do around your home. And this is particularly useful for those people who don't feel safe getting active in their local area, or for those people who live in flats and it's not possible to move and jump around as easily. We've been trying to get these resources out to those people who aren't online. So we're working with supermarkets and delivery services so that these leaflets can be included when people get things ordered to their home. And if you do want more information about those sort of leaflets, if you work with anyone who isn't online, then please do let us know. Just contact us at sport@mind.org.uk. On to the third way to wellbeing, so to take notice. So taking notice, being in the moment, and remembering the simple things that give you joy can help your well-being. After all, we are human beings, not human doings. And a good example of this is, have you ever got into your car, driven somewhere, not thought about how you got there? Or perhaps you went onto autopilot and even ended up in the wrong place. This is where we're multitasking and not taking notice. So we've provided a few examples of how you can do that on the slide, but we wanted this webinar to provide you with takeaway tools. And so we're going to look at a body scan activity, a looking forward to jar, and a breathing activity. And it'd be great if you could get involved with these, and then maybe it'll be useful for you to take away after the webinar. And what I would say is, with all three, they might not work for you, but we wanted to give you a range of options so that you can find the one that works for you. So to kickstart, a body scan is a really good way of taking some time to notice how different parts of your body are feeling. It can take as little or as much time as you would like, and you can do it statically, so you could do this lying down or just sat down in an office chair or at the dining room table, or you could do it actively, so if you're out for a walk. So I'll run through an example of a body scan now to give you an idea. Please do try and engage your mind in this, and hopefully it works for you. So to start with, turn your attention to your feet. Wiggle your toes and get a real sense of how they feel. Do you notice any particular sensations? How do they feel against the ground? Is the ground soft or hard? Are your feet on carpet or hard floor? How do these feel beneath your feet? Now bring your attention to your ankles. Up into your knees, and then into your thighs, so that you can scan both legs. Moving up the body, turn your attention to your hips and lower back. Move that attention up your spine until it's at the top of your back and shoulders. How do your neck and shoulders feel? Now move your attention to the top of your arms and move down to your elbows. Then into your wrists, into your hands, and then finally into your fingers. What can you feel? Is the temperature cold or warm? Finally, bring your attention to your chest and stomach. This part of the body is very expressive and is hugely linked to our emotions. And then to finish, just take a deep breath in and breathe out. So that's just one example of a body scan activity. You can find lots on YouTube and online, which will help you to take notice of your body. The next is this idea of a looking forward to jar, and this was put forward to us by Liz Birkinshaw, who used to work at UK Coaching, is a good friend and partner of mine. And the idea is that you either create a drawing, you could do it yourself, or if you have children, get them to do it, or you could even use an empty jar at home. What you do is you write suggestions and you put those in the jar of things that you're looking forward to doing after lockdown or when some form of normality to life starts up again. And then the plan is at the end of lockdown or when normality begins, you sort of go back to it and you try and attempt to complete those things that you were looking forward to. So myself and my wife have been doing this at home over the last few months. And some of the things that I've put in there includes things like trying a few restaurants that we always said we'd go to but never have, or even visiting a few places in the UK that we never got round to. And you can actually do this exercise on your own as a household, or even you could do it with your family and friends. And then the third tool to take away is breathing activities around taking notice. So the one here is from Every Mind Matters, and it's 2.5 minutes long, so it's not too long at all. So I'll just play that now, and again, please do get involved with this.
So often we're caught up in life's demands with no time to stop. But becoming more aware of your own thoughts and feelings and what's around you, and accepting the present moment, can help improve your mental health and well-being. Doing this affects both the mental and the physical you. Some people call this being more mindful. Focusing on the present means paying attention to your thoughts and feelings right here, right now. Breathing exercises are a great way to focus on the present and be more mindful. Doing this can also help when you're feeling stressed or anxious. This short video will take you through how to do a mindful breathing exercise. Firstly, settle into a natural, comfortable position. When you're ready, take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Breathe naturally, noticing the sensations of the breath entering and leaving the body as best you can. Allow your shoulders and neck to relax, focusing on your breathing, just being aware of it. Focus on how your body feels. What sensations do you notice? Do you feel your feet on the floor or the feeling of your clothes on your skin? Take this time to pay close attention to physical sensations, from the top of your head right down to your toes. Notice what you're thinking about right now and how you're feeling. Just take the time to notice your thoughts and feelings without judgment and without trying to change them. When you're ready, take one more breath and try to bring this awareness with you into the next moments of your day. Breathing techniques like this one can help to center you in the moment at any time and connect you with the present, which can help if you're feeling stressed or anxious.
Okay, great. So that's just one example of many breathing activities you can do. You can find lots online and they range in length from sort of 2 minutes all the way through to sort of 20 minutes long. There are obviously apps out there as well around breathing and mindfulness. But I have to admit, I was quite skeptical of breathing activity videos. I wasn't sure that it would actually help too much, but it's really helped me during lockdown. And I actually try to watch that video and take part at the start of the day to sort of get into work mode, make sure I'm sort of zoned into everything. And then I do it again at the end of the day to sort of zone out. And then it's the start of sort of my personal life and I'm out of work and I'm more calm. So it might work for you, it might not, but again, just another tool that you may want to add to your sort of well-being kit bag. And then on to the fourth way to well-being, so to keep learning. And continued learning through life enhances self-esteem, and it also encourages a more active life. Now, can you remember when you mastered something for the first time? It could be simple things like completing a crossword, or even mastering the toilet roll challenge, or even getting your tea bag into your cup. Now, I actually do that each morning, and I'm not particularly good at it, but I know when it does go in, it makes me feel a lot better. And when you learn something or complete a challenge, you get that sense of accomplishment and pride. And so we've included some examples of things you can do, such as trying to learn new skills, and also take part in online courses. And in a while, I'll provide a bit more information about our mental health awareness for sport and physical activity e-learning, which is going live, has gone free, sorry, this week. So I'll provide a bit more information on that in a second. I've just been messaged, always getting your tea bag into a cup. So I don't know if you've seen online, there's like trick shots you can do where you throw your tea bag into your cup if you're about to have tea. I have to admit, I'm a coffee drinker, so I do this for my wife. So normally it ends up on the floor and she's never really best pleased with me. Really simple things that you can do. They're quite silly as well, but they're good fun. And then the final way to well-being is to give. And individuals who report a greater interest in helping others are more likely to rate themselves as happy. Now, can you recall that feeling when you did something nice for someone else? It could be helping out a neighbour, a friend, family member, or even a colleague. And so we've highlighted some giving activities you can do at the moment on the slide, and it really does vary. It can start from something really small, such as giving thanks and really meaning it, as well as giving praise and compliments. It's something that we're not particularly good at times, is giving that praise to someone else, but it does mean a lot. And who could forget Captain Tom Moore's NHS appeal, which has obviously raised over £32 million. And we're not saying that if you set up a fundraising challenge, you're going to reach the dizzy heights that Tom Moore has, but every little does help, especially for your well-being and also for charities and fundraisers. So that's a bit of an overview of the 5 ways to well-being. There are so many examples out there. There are lots online, but we really did want to provide you with some practical tools of things that you could do yourself with those. If you have got any other examples, please do add to the chat box. It's a great way of sharing ideas and good practice. And whilst we wanted to focus on how to support yourself positively at this time, it's also important to acknowledge the enormity of what is happening and to let you know that it's okay not to be okay. And there is support available to help you and others. We've spoken to lots of people within the sector, from coaches, personal trainers, through to development officers and CEOs. And quite a few of the worries that are coming up are around job uncertainty and financial concerns, issues around health, bereavement, and even loneliness. And so at Mind, we've developed this coronavirus and mental health toolkit. This provides reliable information and tips to help you cope during this strange and challenging time. There's a range of guidance available, which includes around young people, how to support your children's well-being, loneliness, managing stress, and many, many more. And that is updated on a nearly daily basis, so please do take a look at that. And also signpost others to it if you think they may be struggling. And talking about others, we also wanted to provide some information around supporting the well-being of others. Unfortunately, we don't have a huge amount of time to go through this in much detail in today's webinar, but we wanted to give you an insight into how small things can make a big difference. But if you would like more information on how to support others, then please do take a look at our website, or even look to complete our mental health awareness for sport and physical activity online training. And as mentioned earlier, this has gone free this week, and it will be free until the end of August. It takes about 2 to 3 hours to complete. And it just gives you an introduction to mental health within sport and physical activity. But around supporting mental well-being of others. So if you have concerns around someone's mental health, then there is a 3S approach that you can take. The first is to spot the signs. So there may be changes in behaviour, appearance, or how someone feels. This could include someone becoming withdrawn or not being in contact. So that could be people not replying to texts and messages, or even not answering their phone. They could be behaving out of character. They could be gaining or losing weight quickly, turning to alcohol or drugs, or appearing tired, anxious, or even scruffy. And if you think someone is experiencing a mental health problem or struggling, then you can support them by asking if they want to talk about it. And if they do, listen what they have to say non-judgmentally. Encourage them to seek help and advice. I've got a bit of information on that in a second. And then reassure them that they're not alone, especially at the moment. And then if you think someone is in crisis, then you may need to tell someone else. We've got a bit more information on that in a later slide. And then signpost to relevant support. It's unlikely that you're a mental health expert, so it's important you signpost to relevant support and professional help. Now, the first port of call could be to signpost to family and friends if relevant, but the more professional help is through the use of helplines that provide support and guidance. And in the next slide, we've got some information on different helplines available. And if you're looking to support the mental well-being of your colleagues, then if you have an employee assistance program, then encourage them to access support through that. So that could look like another helpline, or it can easily include counselling service as well. But the big thing to mention around supporting the mental well-being of others is that it's unlikely you are a mental health expert or professional. So please do signpost to relevant support and the professionals. That is your role. And it's a bit like, and I'm sure people may have heard this example before, if someone's broken their arm, you're going to get them the support they need through professionals. And it's exactly the same for mental health. So there's some examples of some of the helplines that are available to support people that may be struggling with their mental health. And as I mentioned around crisis, so this is when an individual feels their mental health is at breaking point, and they might be experiencing things such as suicidal feelings, are self-harming, have extreme anxiety or panic attacks, and or have behaviours that feel out of control and could endanger themselves or others. It's also important to note that these support services are there to help you if you are struggling or experiencing issues with your mental health. Alongside these helplines, remember that you can contact your GP or call 111 for more guidance and support. And then just as a recap, to look at that information and the tools that we've provided in this webinar, some suggestions around it's important to try and integrate the 5 ways to well-being into your daily routine. And as highlighted, it can be similar to your fruit and veg as your 5 a day. Use tools such as the body scan, breathing exercises, or looking forward to jar. Do take a look at our coronavirus and mental health toolkit if you're looking for more information and tips. Potentially look to complete our mental health awareness e-learning training, which is now free. And then the big thing to remember is that support is available. So if you are concerned about someone, please signpost them to the services available. And also remember that if you are struggling, then please do make use of this support. So that's all the content that we wanted to cover today. So I'll sort of open it up to if anyone has any questions.
Well, I've got one, Sam. I'm just when we speak about mindfulness, is there any kind of apps out there that you could kind of suggest, or?
Yeah, there's lots. I'm trying to think of some of the ones that I've used. I have to admit, I deleted a mindful app just because the notifications are actually causing me some anxiety each day. So my recommendation is actually to do it in your own time. Maybe set reminders on your phone instead of the app notifying you. Obviously, it's whatever works for different people, but that's sort of why I've highlighted those videos today, is to build that into your daily routine instead of an app. There are lots out there. I wouldn't want to single anyone out in particular, but yeah, a Google search will show you quite a few.
Great. I certainly, the breathing exercises, I think I said I felt like a 7 at the start, and that alone made me feel a lot more relaxed and a lot better. And I think pushing an 8 pushing an 8 now. So
Good
no,
tip.
that was great. Have we got any questions coming in the chat, or has everyone been able to gather everything? I think it's something I'll definitely look at, is that that training course. I really make use of that, and I think we'll definitely promote that in our network as well, Sam. Send that out to our membership. And if you haven't got any questions coming in, I'd just like to say a big thank you for your time and your expertise, and thank you for everyone's flexibility. I know Wednesday was a bit of a pain, but great to have the session delivered. Oh, there we go. A question popped in from Ali. I think we all know what a 1 or 2 feels like to us, but what should a 10 feel like?
I suppose a 10 is how you feel on your best day. For me, I know that I can remember days where I just felt really happy and haven't really had any concerns or issues running through my mind. So that's for me what a 10 feels like. That may be different to other people. Again, mental health is different for every single person in the world, and so it is difficult to tell you what a 10 will feel like, but I'm sure you'll know when you've had that really good day and that feeling. I was just going to say, Toby, a couple of people have asked me just privately some questions, so I'll get back to them once we've finished. I don't want to speak about those for everyone. But yeah, and do feel free to keep asking questions. I was just going to say, just to finish with, I just want to leave you with this saying, because it's quite relevant at the moment, especially given Mental Health Awareness Week and the theme being kindness. And particularly in the sports sector, we can be more focused on helping others than actually helping ourselves at times. And so we do need to be kind to ourselves, because ultimately self-care does mean giving the world the best of you instead of what is left of you. And I know it's a bit cheesy, but it really does ring true, especially within the sports sector.
Most definitely. And yeah, no, I think we've had some great feedback in the chat there as well. So I think it's a session that everyone's really appreciated, and we appreciate for all of you for coming today. And what I would also say is that these slides will be available on the Catch a Coffee webpage on our website. There's a few sessions we're waiting just to upload on there. I'm trying to get them all uploaded as quickly as possible, but sometimes the internet in Wales isn't too strong and it drops out when I'm trying to upload. But hopefully we'll have all the sessions up by early part of next week. So yeah, those will be available, and please feel free to share those within your organisation. And hopefully, if that is everything, I will wish you off into the bank holiday. I am off now, so yeah, I'm going to go use my afternoon to make a colossal sized lunch of something special. Not sure what that might be yet, but yeah. Sam, am I okay to share your details as well if anyone wants to reach out beyond this webinar?
Yeah, definitely. What I'd say is we have a generic email address at Mind around physical activity, which is sport@mind.org.uk. I'm just saying that because the whole team picks that up, so you may get a quicker response than just me. But yeah, thanks Toby for putting that in the chat.
Great. Yeah, so there we go. We'll wish you off into the afternoons, and Sam, once again, thanks, and thanks for everyone's flexibility coming from Wednesday, and have a great and safe bank holiday weekend.
Thanks Toby. Thanks everyone.